So, it's Tuesday, and you know what that means. Tuesday video times. I went and got my hair cut today at she's over in Flat Gap. This lady is. She worked at the Paintsville Walmarts, and when Susie was in, we had stopped there to get my hair cut. And very nice lady, that she told us that she had just put her 2 weeks notice in. And I was like, yeah, Lord. Finding a hairdresser for me it's a very difficult task. And when I was in Ashland, Lord McDonald always cut my hair, but it's just not practical for me to drive to Ashland every time I need a haircut. So trying to find one down here has been kind of a chore, if you will. But I think I found one. And like I said, she's in Flat Gap, which is about 20 minutes from where I live. So, and it's, she's got the little shop in her house. In her house, they used to have a gun store and a feed store. So when you walk into her house, it's like you walk into like a storefront. And they had all sorts of guns and bullets and this, that, and the other. And I was like, this is really cool. So, yeah. But super nice lady. Super nice lady. And I think she did good. I think she did good. Aunt Deb and I this morning talked on the phone for a while. And of course, Aunt Deb likes it better when it's like really, really short. And I'm talking like clippered up the back and sides. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I do, just for maintenance purposes in terms of just fixing it. But I think this is a good happy medium because my lady, special lady friend, she likes the bangs. She likes a little bit longer, which I did. It was not clipper cut. She scissor cut it. She took a little more off this time than what she normally does, but my hair grows so fast, I don't think it's going to be. Now, honey, I've done lotion my hands and can't get the lid off my chapstick. So I was pretty tired when I got home from work this morning. I don't think I look as horrible as I did yesterday. I feel like I'm coming down with something. I don't know what. I just didn't feel good all day yesterday. I felt horrible. I looked horrible, and I felt horrible. But I survived and made it home. So I talked to Aunt Deb for a little bit, then I went and got my hair did, then I went to the Piggly Wiggly and I cooked my ham. They gave us hams at work, oink oink, and they gave us delicious hams, and they were like high quality delicious hams. And so Dan Campbell, a boy that I work with, he tried to say that they were not delicious hams and that they had no flavor. And I said, well, how did you fix it? Because every year they usually, they get us a ham. They're like them big logs. I'm talking about them big ham logs. And it's almost like it's pressed ham or something. No, that's not quality. But now these were the big Smithfield spiral hams. Now that's a good ham. I mean, I'm not even a ham fan. And that's a good ham. So Dan's like, yeah, they had no flavor. And I said, how'd you cook it? And he said, in the crock pot. Who in the hell cooks a ham? You don't cook a ham in the crock pot, people. Now, let's just not get it twisted. I love crock pot cooking, and there are many things that I will make in a crock pot. You don't put a ham in a crock pot. Everybody knows that. So, I followed the directions on the package. And I cooked my ham, and then I even put the glaze. There was a pecan praline glaze that went on it. And I felt kind of bad about it at first because I was looking at the ingredients in it and it had the high fructose corn syrup, and I almost left it off. But then after I got to thinking about it, when you go to drizzle that glaze on a hot ham, very little of it actually sticks to the ham. The rest of it just drains off. So I put it on there. Gives it just a teeny tiny little bit of sweetness. My mother, God rest her soul, for years she would bake a ham, and you know what she would serve with it? A can of cherry pie filling. Everybody's mom has that little whatever tradition. She would bake a ham, and then she would open up a big can of cherry pie filling, and she'd put it in a bowl, and that's what she'd. Which I mean, I understand where she's coming from. It's like a fruit chutney kind of type deal. So I get it, the salty and the savory with the sweet. So, and I do love me some cherry pie filling. So, my ham is very flavorful and very delicious. Probably because I paid attention and I followed directions. Ham in a crock pot. In other news, I'm going to try, after I start talking about ham, um, I think I've decided to not go completely off the meat wagon, but sort of ride the rail of the meat wagon. I didn't buy any meat at the store today. And really, the only reason I cooked the ham is I'm not going to waste a ham. So I'll probably take some down to the landlady and take the rest to work. Uh, which, like I said, traditionally, I've never been a crazy huge ham person anyway. Pork chops, different story. But anyway, so I'm making some tabbouleh salad. I've got the wheat cooling in the fridge there, and then I'll have to add I put cilantro in mine. I know some people don't like that. But I put tomatoes and cilantro and olive oil and English cucumbers and such. Just a little lemon juice. It's very good. I was a vegetarian for a while, and my problem was I don't think I was getting enough protein in my diet. And I did really great for like the first few months, but then my body just started feeling weird and crazy. So I started back on the meat time. But I've decided that I need to sort of revise my dietary intake a little bit about it for it because I've just felt really super fat lately, like super fat. Um, I mean, like super, like put a cape with a big S F. I would fly, but I'm too fat to fly. So yeah, but I've been feeling huge. So time to when you start feeling huge. So so Aunt Deb and I were talking this morning about relationships, and that seems to be one of my favorite topics. I love talking about relationships and people and just human behavior in general. And we were talking about what is considered within the confines of a relationship a deal breaker, and how do you know when to give up versus when to stay. Traditionally, I have always been one of these people who um, tries to exhaust every outlet or every possibility before ending a relationship, unless I just feel that there is fundamentally strong differences in core values. Sometimes you'll get with somebody, and then after a little while, you're like, no, and then you just don't even let it get off the ground. Other times, you enter into these relationships that you end up being in for years or for a very long time, and there's certain things that may make you uncomfortable or certain things that you don't love so good. But we were talking about, do you stay in that kind of relationship? Do you stay there? And when do you know it's time to leave? And I said my belief has always been, when you invest your heart and you invest your time in a relationship, absolutely you try to make it work. But realizing and understanding that it's a two-way street. Both partners have to be contributing 100%. You hear people say, "Oh, it's got to be 50-50." Bullshit. It's got to be 100-100. Each got to equally give. And Aunt Deb pointed out a wonderful concept. She said, never don't give what you don't get back, which is that's pretty wise sounding words. But I think you know, and it's different for everybody. I think for me, cheating, and God knows I've been cheated on, and I've stayed, and I've discovered later on, don't. It's just not worth it because once you break a trust like that, once you cross that line, I don't know. It's for me, it's really hard. It's really hard to overcome that. You know, I've been in relationships a lot where I have been cheated on, and it's not such a good feeling. It's not a nice feeling. And all it ends up doing to you is it jades you. It makes you bitter in spite of yourself. I mean, and I do this myself. I can sit and talk about how, oh, don't let your past affect your future, but it does. We can sit and preach mantras and bumper stickers and everything under the sun, but at the end of the day, we're flawed. We're human, and things are going to affect us. Things are going to scar us emotionally. And so she said, so would you say that would be the ultimate deal breaker? That would be the only reason to leave somebody? And obviously, notwithstanding things such as abuse and this, that, and the other, I'm talking about couple squabbles. Couples squabble over money, and they squabble over family issues, and I'm talking about those things because those kind of issues, if you communicate or you learn to communicate well with one another, those issues don't have to be a deal breaker. Those issues can be worked through if you love one another. And but if they go touching somebody else's new, I'm sorry. No, I'm not about it. We were talking about like the whole sickness and health thing, and I said to me, it's like it's honoring those vows. She was talking about a friend of hers who has a partner who is sick, and but she will never leave that partner. She's lonesome, and she's ready to entertain herself outside the relationship, but she would never leave that person. And I respect that. I always said I'm the type person that when I found the person that I was meant to be with or the person that I love, there would be nothing that would keep me from them. Sickness, health, whatever. I mean, I wouldn't care if, something happened that left them bed confined. I would spend the rest of my life taking care of them. Would I step outside the relationship? Absolutely not. I wouldn't. Because to me, my place is with my partner. And if they're sick and if they're hurt, it's my place. It's my honor to stand by their side and take care of them. Even if it means changing their shitty diapers. I don't love shitty diapers. Let's just go ahead and be honest about that. But if you love them, you'll change their shitty diaper. You will. You'll stand right there. Because to me, that's, when you find the person that you're meant to be with, that's who you're meant to be with. And just because they got, that's like, that's like you've waited your entire life to buy a really awesome car. Okay, okay, all right. Let's say that your entire life, all you've ever driven are like secondhand Gremlins or Pintos, right? Then all of a sudden one day you get a Cadillac Escalade, fully loaded, fancy schmancy, the car of your dreams, the car you've always wanted. And then let's say the next day the engine blows up in it. Well, are you going to check the whole car and start over? No, you're going to fix it. That's the car you've always wanted. Why would you get rid of it? Why not just go ahead and fix it? And that's the way I look at, just because it's broken doesn't mean that you don't stay and take care of it. You stay and you fix it and you continue on with your life. And to me, it would be the same with a partner. If your partner gets sick, it's still your partner. That's still the person you committed yourself to. And you should do it lovingly and willingly. It shouldn't be a chore or a burden or anything else because you love that person. And because you would hope that if the shoe were on the other foot, they'd wipe your shitty ass. I mean, I'm hoping that my diapers get changed. I don't want to get chafed. So there it is. But relationships are complex and crazy and awesome and wonderful, and they're everything. They're everything. I mean, really, when you stop and think about it, the only thing in this life worth truly a damn is our relationships with people, whether it be romantic or friend or whatever, and we cultivate those. We spend our lives cultivating those and helping them to grow and to flourish. And there are times that sometimes we just have to put it back in the box and set it on the shelf. But I think for every person it's different. And Auntie said something about one of the things that she had learned this year was that it's not always black and white. Sometimes there are shades of gray. And I think that's an important lesson. A very important lesson. Sometimes there's circumstances and issues that come about that cause it not to be so black and white. You got to open your mind. Open your mind, open your heart. How about the pox scar? I can't know about this. Looks like it's getting a little better. I have been putting the vitamin E Earls and lotions on it and such. So, I don't know. But I think she did a good job on my hair. I'm not putting any makeup on. I don't have to be on duty until noon tomorrow. So, I'm not about, I'm not about it. I'm going to put me some vitamin E stuff on my pox and finish my cooking. And then it is Law and Order Tuesday. However, I have been hooked on The Good Wife. I have been a Hulu junkie for the last week, watching all the Good Wife episodes. Awesome. And I also need to paint my nails. So, but anyway, I hope everybody's having a good day. The weather here is it's all right. So New Year's is coming up. I hope everybody has good plans for the New Year's. My plan is to work. Yay me! So, yeah, that's what I'll be doing. But anywho, you all behave, take care. I will be back on Saturday. If there is anything you would like to discuss, because sometimes I find it very difficult to come up with things to talk about on the spot. I mean, if we're having a conversation, then I can probably pull something out of my hat. But just to sit down and ramble and say something of any kind of quality other than let's talk about my hair. I mean, I know that you all really love that, and I could make like a 30-minute video just talking about my hair, and y'all be happy. That's what you should. But sometimes you need other things too, and I understand that. So there it is. But you all take care, and I will talk to you later.